Hello. We are back again. This week is just like the coolest week ever, friends. My name is Kristy Rice, and this is a Watercolorland with me, Kristy Rice. And I do hope you joined us yesterday. If you didn't, I'm going to link that one below so you can get caught up. But for now, let's get in the moment. Today, we are talking about what I think is the most overlooked discussions, one of the most, apparently. You know, I have a lot of opinions about overlooked things in watercolor land. Hello. And that is brush handling. Like, we don't pay enough attention to how we hold our brushes, the angles and the pressure and all that kind of stuff. Even myself, I've been painting my entire life, it feels like, literally since I was 6 years old. And I still have to remind myself of all the wonderful things that my brush can do when I'm really thinking about how I'm holding it and the pressure on my brush. So that is what we're talking about today. Brush handling. Brush handling. Yeah. So here's the thing, friends. The brush is an extension of your hand, right? It's an extension of your hand. And we have to think about it that way. But I know that the brush can often feel a lot like, how do I say it? Uncomfortable, shaky in your hand. It can feel foreign in your hand, right? Can I get amen in comments if you've ever had an experience with the brush feeling like it just doesn't quite fit or feel like it makes sense in your hand, like you start to paint and you feel shaky, right? Anybody, let me know in comments. Give me a, oh my gosh, yes, I've definitely felt that. Whatever you want to say. I want the community here to be honest, and I want you to share the struggles that you have. And that's one of them that I have. Yes, I see amens. I see lots of amens. Yes. Friends, this is a live session. So if you could just let me know, how's the audio, how's the image, how's it sounding, how's it doing? If you have any kind of weird, imperfect, connection, you might want to just scroll back a little bit, let it buffer, and then watch it just a little bit behind. That can help if the internet connection on your end is a little questionable. So just a little tip there for a live. Now, for those of you who are joining on the replay, I want you to know that you are just as invested, and I am just as excited that you're here right now on the replay. So please comment, get involved. Know that I am going back and doing my utmost to respond to all of your comments. Yes, I see arthritis. You might be shaky from who knows what, different medications or anxiety, for goodness sake. There's so many things that can cause our brush to feel really uncomfortable or foreign in our hands, right? I'm going to grab a brush, right? But I want you to get to the point where your brush feels more like a part of you and an extension of you. Hello, Grammy Lar. Hello, Pippa. Cherie, hello. I'm so glad. Lab accident, best handle ever. I'm so glad you're back. I love saying that. It just rolls off the tongue. Okay, so today with us, we have my husband, Adam. Again, he's the AV dude. If he waves backwards, I think you might actually catch a view of his hand. Yeah, there it is. There's his hand. Say hi. Everybody say hi to Adam. And we also have Kelly. She is in the comments section, making sure that all of your questions that I'm not able to get to live are getting answered. So everybody say hey to Kelly. Yoo-hoo for Adam, Virginia says. The crazy world of Christopher says, sup, Adam? I love it. Sally says, hi, Adam. Okay, awesome. All right. So today, yes, we're going to talk about brush handling. Couple of things. We're going to talk about how we actually hold the brush, right? We're going to talk about pressure. We're going to do some exercises to kind of examine pressure and how we hold it, at which angle we hold the brush. But mixed up in all of that, we are also going to go over the many types of brushes that there are. Not all of the brushes, because we don't have like 8 hours, right? But we're going to go over some of my favorites. And I want to talk about them and the different ways that they function. Hello, Fru from Denmark. Gina, hello, hello. Lori, so glad you're here. All right. If you have questions, remember, get those questions going. As this live goes on, more and more people are going to join in. So if you have questions, right now is a good time to ask them. All right. So get those questions going. Kelly's going to pop up some questions on the screen. And again, if you're watching on replay, I'm going to head into comments and respond to your questions. All right. So let's get into it. The biggest question that I get asked a lot, and I know a lot of other watercolor YouTubers, Jenna Rainey comes to mind. You all know Jenna Rainey. She's fantastic. She's very, very specific about the fact that she uses synthetic brushes through and through. I actually think she uses, is it the Princeton Aqua Elite? Something like that. I'm going off the top of my head. So there's this question of synthetic, natural, or a hybrid. Those are our brush types, right? Those are our general brush types. It's cracking me up that my overlays are like taking my face out. Anyway, so we have synthetic, we have hybrid, we have natural. I'm going to bring up a little chart I made that I think will be helpful. You might want to take a screenshot of this. So let's take a look at this chart. All right. So our synthetic brushes, let's talk about them. And I'm going to say it right now, friends. I am 100% biased. We're going to get this screen right. We want to get that chart nice and big. There we go. All right. So friends, I'm biased. Okay. I really love me synthetic brushes. That's my favorite. That's my favorite. Fully 100% synthetic. That's fine. That's my favorite. Okay. Synthetic brushes, though, typically hold less water. All right. They're not going to hold as much water as natural bristle brushes. However, synthetic brushes are going to take a beating, right? They're going to take a licking and keep on ticking. They are very robust. They can handle a lot. I know there was that remember that one video, if you've been with me for a time, where I used gesso with my brushes, my good brushes, and everybody was freaking out. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people were freaking out because they're like, Kristy, you're going to ruin your watercolor brushes. Well, let me tell you, friends, not so much, because synthetics can really handle it. Synthetic brushes, I call it, there's less of a learning curve, or there's a lower barrier to entering the painting game with a synthetic brush. They seem to be a little more forgiving and give you good results easier than, say, a natural, okay? They've got great snap. Let's pull up, can we get the painting cam up along with the chart? Because I want to show you what I mean about this snap. All right. So synthetics don't need to be reshaped. When they get wet, when they get water on them, they just snap right back into shape. All right. Right back. Whereas a hybrid or a natural bristle brush is going to need some reshaping. All right. So if any of you have ever used those silver, what are they? Silver limited. I forget. I have one over here. I'm going to grab it. You know what I'm talking about. You start to use them. Here's that silver brush, right? You start to use them, but they don't snap. You go from a straight, nicely formed bristle, but you start to put pressure on them and they don't snap back. All right, let's get back to that chart and let's talk about a little bit more. So we've got the good snap on the synthetic. Do I have my synthetic lovers out there? Can you get into comments? And I see Lab Accident says I have mostly synthetic brushes. Lori uses hybrids. Lab Accident, silver, black velvet. Yes, that's what they're called. Okay, so synthetic, the last bonus is that they are used for mixed media. They're great for mixed media. Are we supposed to prepare our new brushes before use? Sometimes they are very stiff. Yes. Oh, such a good question. So often brushes are shipped, like my brushes, my Art for Joy's Sake collection brushes are shipped and they are stiff. You're going to just want to rinse them. I believe it is some type of like a cornstarch, and it's something to keep the bristles really protected during transit and shipping and all the things. But that is normal. They are very stiff. You just want to rinse them, give them a good rinse, and they'll be ready to go. That is a fantastic question. All right, let's go over to the right-hand side of the chart with natural bristles. So we're talking any kind of sable, squirrel hair. I think there's hog hair even. That's what we're talking about here. They hold the most water. Hands down, your natural bristle brushes hold the most water. Think of like mop brushes. Yes. Okay, number 2, but here's the drawback. And this is why this is the biggest reason why I don't use natural bristles as a rule. They're more fragile. They don't take a beating. They aren't the greatest for mixed media because they can get damaged and worn down a lot easier. But a lot of people really love the trade-off. They want that water, that brush that they don't have to keep dipping back into the water as often. That really holds a lot of water for big, juicy washes, right? Natural brushes, bristle brushes, I find have absolutely the biggest learning curve. Because remember, you've got that lack of snap. Now, this is a hybrid. This silver brush, if we could go back to the screen here, the painting cam, this silver brush here, this is a hybrid. And look, it just doesn't have that snap. It just, you put pressure on it and it doesn't snap fully back into place. And for me, that's a bummer. Although these brushes are lovely and the learning curve, these are a hybrid, the learning curve isn't as steep as a fully natural bristle brush. So, all right. Another kind of negative for me, again, and it has to do with that lack of snap, is that you are going to have to reshape. Now, are you going to be reshaping with your fingers all the time? No. You might be painting along, put a lot of pressure on your brush, and then you have to just press it either on a paper towel off to the side to kind of get it back into the shape that you want. Because you might have something that looks like this, and that is not going to work. So you're going to have to reshape. All right? And really, they're best for watercolor. So a natural bristle watercolor brush is best for watercolor. A natural bristle oil brush is best for oil, and so on and so forth. Really not meant for mixed media. If you have questions, friends, let me know. We'll pop some up on screen. Here comes one. Which brushes are suggested to be used when you are a beginner? In my opinion, I would say synthetic. I would definitely say synthetic, and here's why. Maybe grab yourself one of these black velvets, just one, so you can get a feel. And because you want to give yourself a little bit of a challenge, but synthetic watercolor brushes are going to give you that edge. They're going to bring you the joy quicker when it comes to starting out, because we don't want to build frustration on top of frustration, do we? I mean, I don't think we do when we're starting out. We don't want to make it easy for ourselves, but inherently in a new journey, there's so many hangups and hiccups and frustrations that are possible. So I'm a big believer in choosing materials that are going to kind of start to even out that playing field for you mentally, so that you can just enjoy the paint and the paper and what's happening there. So as you evolve, as you get more comfortable with brushes and painting in general, then start to bring in some hybrids and some natural bristle brushes. That's just my opinion. Hey there. Hello, Prophetess of Doom. I'm so glad to see you here. Yes, Lab Accident says, I love quill brushes, but they're hard to control. Exactly. They're hard to control. All right. Now let's talk about hybrids. If we could bring back that chart, because I purposely left this center one for last. So hybrid examples, and you'll see at the top of this chart, friends, you might want to take a screenshot of this. I will link this chart below after the live so you can have this for reference if you want it, because there are examples of actual brands at the top. So you're talking your Silver Brush, your Princeton Neptunes, those are examples of hybrids. Now, when I say hybrid, I am talking brushes that are an actual hybrid of synthetic bristles and natural bristles, or brushes that are made to feel like natural bristles but are still synthetic, because I'm putting those two into that same category because they both have the same kind of drawbacks and benefits. So are hybrid brushes the best of both worlds? I don't know. Actually, I do know how I feel about that. I personally feel like mostly yes, but for beginners, no. My personal opinion is that, and the question was already asked, as a beginner, synthetics are going to give you that boost. They're going to give you that momentum. They're going to give you an easier entry into all of this watercolor wonderfulness. So you see my little like tongue-in-cheek, do they have a lower barrier to entry? Do they have a good snap? Are they great for mixed media, the hybrids? And so in general, for beginners, the hybrids for me, recommending to you, are kind of meh. Yeah, I'm sorry. Now, all of this said, these are my opinions. This just comes from my experience. That's why I do recommend synthetic. Get yourself one hybrid and decide how you feel about it all. All right, friends, this is so fun. If you're having a blast already, I would so appreciate a boop. That is a like on this video. I'd love to get like 50 likes in the next couple of minutes, friends. And if we do get 50 likes in the next couple of minutes, Kelly, I'm going to have you take a look at where we're at with likes on this live right now. If we get to 50 likes within the next, say, 10 minutes, I'm going to do a little giveaway. That's right. And I'm going to do it live. Yes, if you like, give a boop. All right, friends, we're going to get back to and into the painting. Let's get on with it. Yes. Hey there. All right. Okay. So we are going to do drills today. Now let me talk about the word drills, because I don't want you to feel uncomfortable. I don't want you to feel like, oh gosh, this is going to be boring. Stick with me, friends. Stick with me. I promise. You're going to come out of this not only with more comfort with these brushes, you're going to come out of this with some cool looking pages of art. Yeah. 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 Thank you, Virginia. Liked and booped. Thank you. Okay, Adam, we are done with that chart. I'm going to give him a hard time. He's having a hard time with that chart today. He really likes it, though. He keeps wanting to bring it up. Okay, let's talk about materials. Friends, today I'm using Gen Crafts. I did have a video on, my opinion, the best budget watercolor papers around. Gen Crafts was the winner. This is kind of like wood pulp. I don't know the exact. I forget. I can only hold so much in my brain at a time, but it is not 100% cotton Gen Craft. This is kind of the lower end Gen Craft, but it for me was the winner. So I'm going to use it today to prove to you why I think it was the winner. Thank you, Bernadette, for the boop. Thank you, Cat's Gallery. Thank you, Colleen. Thank you, Tammy. Kelly, are you counting those boops? Because if we get to 50 in 10 minutes, I'm doing a giveaway. All right. So we're going to be running through a bunch of brushes today. And I'm going to show you what brushes we're going to be working on. And then we're going to talk about muscle memory. And friends, stick around though. Just like yesterday, we are going to be doing a paint along towards the end of this. And today it's a landscape. So be excited. Okay, so we are going to start by examining round brushes. They're going to be our first today. All right. Then we're going to get into Daggerland. All right. dagger, 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 rounds, then daggers. And then we're going to be getting into the cat's tongue, right? And then we're going to go into the flat. I only have one flat that we're going to look at today. And then we're going to go on to Filbert, liners, and detail brushes. These are the brushes we're going to be working with today. All right, we ready for it? Why are exercises important? Friends, let me tell you, they build this lovely little thing called muscle memory. I know you've heard me talk about it before. Maybe you've heard someone else talk about it before. Okay, muscle memory. This is the Kristy wearing her scientist-ish hat. All right, so give me some grace. Muscle memory is basically when your eyes, your hands, and your heart are in alignment with what's going on the page. All right, and these drills, practicing the same stroke or similar stroke over and over again, and then another over and over again, are going to build that muscle memory. It's like eye-hand coordination with an undertone of emotion. Okay? That's the best way I can describe it. Muscle memory helps these skills, the brush in your hand feeling comfortable. It helps that happen and that stick in your memory and be steadfast in your heart. Because remember I said we want our brush to feel like an extension of ourselves, right? And these exercises will do that. They will build that. I'm so glad you're here. This is so, so important. All right. So let me act out what I mean, right? I want to paint a daisy. I'll spray my palette, right? I want you to get to the point where if you want to paint a daisy or a landscape or whatever it is, I want you to get to a point where you don't have to overthink how to start, where to put the brush. Is it an upstroke? Is it a downstroke like this? Do I turn my hand like this or am I going to go like this? What's going to look better? I want some of this to start to feel like second nature. And these exercises will get you there, if that makes sense. Do I want my brush at this angle or this angle? Those decisions shouldn't always have to be mulled over. They will become second nature. But these exercises are what are going to get you there quicker. All right. So for some, this type of planning and this type of like thinking, I am more of like in the moment, my brain's all over the place. I want instinct. I want to learn how to develop instincts. Some of you may get joy from planning out each stroke. Now I know like Monet, he was known to think about a single stroke for like 25 minutes before he placed it. All right. So if that is your joy zone, no shade whatsoever. But it's not my joy zone. All right. So I'm giving you a way to approach painting so that if you do want to be more free spirited, you don't want to have to mull over a single brush stroke for a long time, that you have the tools to do that. Oh, Julie says, hello from Florida. Got your brushes yesterday. Oh, Virginia, my goodness. Thank you so much for that super sticker. That's just so generous. Thank you. All right, cool. All right. So if you're painting along with me, and I hope that you are, whether you're live right now or this is the replay for you, let's get into it. We're going to go full screen on the painting right now. All right, friends, round brushes. We're going to do 8 different drills for each brush. I know it's a lot. We're going to do upstroke. We're going to do downstroke. We're going to do horizontal from the left and right. Press and lift, press, drag and lift, thinnest line possible and thickest line possible. Okay. We have a question from the pit crew here. Hold on, friends. I will be right back.
Oh, I muted you too quick. So yeah, so we only see the Facebook likes here?
Go actually onto YouTube. She has to go onto YouTube.
Okay. And then people are typing boop all over the place in the comments.
That's fine. We're gonna do the giveaway.
But clarify what boop means in
we're
the future.
Gonna,
okay, I'll begin.
Yeah. All right, friends. Sorry about that. All right. So for the likes, friends, just remember to go up into right underneath the video. You're going to see the little thumbs up. You're going to hit that boop. But we're real close. I have no doubt that we're going to be doing this giveaway here soon, friends. No doubt whatsoever. All right. I'm going to adjust this camera. I'm going to just pop it down a little bit here so we can get closer. All right. So round brushes, I've got a couple different sizes. This is, I believe this is a 12. And this is a 2, this green one. This is from my Art for Joy's Sake brush collection. A little secret for you. This is going to be from my new collection. I have a new brush collection coming. It's called the Free From Fear brush collection. And it's going to be out for the holidays, friends. And my travel brush, which is a number 6 round, also coming very soon. But use what you have and love what you have, okay? Don't need to be rushing out and buying something new. Just don't. Okay. Now, I'm going to probably fill a whole page for each of these brushes. So I'm going to do a whole page of rounds. And friends, I invite you, this makes the whole drill thing a little more fun. We don't have to be super organized about it. So let's start with an upstroke. I'm going with my number 6. An upstroke is starting from some point that is your bottom and then stroking upwards. All right. Change your pressure. Let's do really strong pressure now all the way through. Really strong upstroke. Let the paint run out. That's a really cool mark. Let's do really light pressure. Light pressure all the way through. These are all upstrokes, friends. Change your color if you want. Do you. Let's do an undulating upstroke. Pressure, lift, pressure, lift, pressure, lift. Is that working for you? Can we see this clearly? Thank you, Des. I'm pretty excited too. Jodex, you did make it, and that does deserve a woohoo. Yeah, I am totally enabling many folks' art supplies addictions. I am sorry, not sorry, kind of a situation. Let's just keep doing upstrokes, friends. Think about how you're holding your brush. So far, I've been holding my brush pretty perpendicular. Let's switch it up. Let's do an upstroke, holding the brush out further. See what I'm doing here? And almost parallel, as parallel as you can get it. It's more of like a 30-degree angle and upstroke. Look at all of these different marks I am getting from one number 6. Let's do some more upstrokes. Grab whatever color. Remember, when this page is done, it's going to be gorgeous. And it's exercise. It's muscle memory. But when you're done, you're going to have a page full of awesome. I'm so excited about it. Oh, Kelly says, thank you, everyone. You booped away and surpassed 50. We are going to do a giveaway then, friends. We're going to finish these upstrokes. Let's do a wiggly upstroke. I'm holding the brush kind of like halfway up. We do have a question, though, so I'll pause. Question. I have much about quinacridone gold, but what is another color that can be used instead? Well, it depends on the quinacridone gold manufacturer. Quinacridone golds are so different across the board. I'm going to need to think on that one. One of my favorite quinacridrones is from Daniel Smith, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. But you could look into like a burnt sienna mixed with some type of cad yellow. That would be a suggestion. It is a mix, but that would be a suggestion. Friends, in comments, do you have any suggestions for a sub for quinacridone gold? Let's go ahead and take it to the community, and let's continue some upstrokes. Let's do a curved upstroke. I'm holding my brush at an angle. Friends, what I want you to notice every time you do this upstroke, what angle is your hand at? What angle is your brush at? Let's go up, right? Look at this one. Let's go this way. I am changing the angle of my hand, not my brush, my hand, and stroke up. Look at this. Anybody having an aha moment here right now? Because I think sometimes we get stuck in the rut where I'm down here and I just have to do this. And then this is what I do. I'm not making fun of anybody because I do this. I catch myself. I do this. Like, this is what my strokes should be. And you're just static and you're always moving your wrist the same way and you're always moving your fingers the same way. Friends, I want to shake you out of that. That stroke was a little difficult. All right. We've got another comment. Winsor & Newton 24 half pan set on sale. Oh, I love those. Check out that comment, friends. We've got a sale alert. Sale alert. Love it. Let's do a couple more upstrokes and we're going to get on with it. Just go freestyle, friends. Just go crazy on it. Go kindergarten on the rest of this line here. Just do what you will. Try to make the thickest stroke you possibly can. Oop, that was a downstroke. We're doing upstrokes. All right, all right, all right. How we feeling? Who's painting along with me? Yeah, we got a page full of awesome coming here for you, friends. Who's painting along with me? Give me a paint along in comments. Thank you, Lily. Oh, Lily, you finally ordered them. Thank you, thank you. Okay, let's do some downstrokes, friends. I'm going to use a different round. I'm going to use my number 12, and let's just get just as creative. Now, with a good, in my opinion, a good round should come to a nice, fine point at the end. So let's do some downstrokes. See how thin we can get. Not how straight, but how thin. Let's do a couple in a row. And you know what, friends? If you overlap your first set of upstrokes, who cares? Who cares? All right? Let's grab another color and let's see how thick, long, thick. Let the paint run out. Ooh, look at that. You can get some of the coolest textures. So even though that these exercises are about strokes and brushes and how to hold them and the pressure, you're going to learn a lot about the magic that your brush can do when you just let go. All right, pulling in another color here. Let's do an undulating downstroke. Press down hard, lift up, press down hard, lift up, press down hard, lift up. Holding my brush almost perpendicular, press down hard, lift up. Gorgeous. How could we use that? That right there could be a mountain range. That could be a mountain range. You could have stopped in the middle, changed your color. Look at that. Gorgeous. Think about how you can use these strokes in real life. That's why we're going to do a painting at the end. All right, horizontal from the left. Let's think about how we're going to hold this brush. I'm going to load up with some of this peach here. I'm going to hold my brush like this. I know, y'all are like, she's crazy. Hold your brush like this, just kind of this claw grip halfway up. See where I'm at, just below the ferrule on my particular brush. And we're going to go across and we're going to drag. And you're going to feel that scratch on your paper. That's okay. And then I'm going to change the angle, 45-degree angle. And you're going to feel less of that scratch because of the angle. And look at that. Look at the two different strokes you got. Same brush, same hand, same person, same paint, totally different mark. Let's go like this. Let's scrub. Let's scrub at that 45-degree angle. Scrub, 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 scrub. Love it. All right. Let's do press and lift. No dragons. No dragons in this one, but some press and lift. And you know what? Let's get crazy. Let's double load our brush, purple and pink. I'm at, again, about a 45. Press and lift. Press and lift. Press and lift. Press and lift. Somebody told me once I sound like a Lamaze instructor when I do stuff like that. But you know what? It is what it is. I'm going to go with it. Press and lift. Now, let's do a press and lift perfectly perpendicular. Press and lift. Press. It's like a bounce. Bounce. Press and lift. How's that feel? It feels crazy. But think of how you could use this. Think of how you could use this. I'm holding my brush, those last marks that I did, I'm holding my brush halfway up. Let's hold the brush way down and rest our pinky on the page and dab, dab. Look at those tiny little dots you can get. Press and lift, press and lift. Look at that. Just by changing the way, remember, holding it way down on the ferrule, using my pinky knuckle as an anchor, press and lift. Now, I don't have a lot of coverage because my axis here is kind of tight. Hope I said that right. Did I say that right, Adam? Does that make sense from an engineering perspective? He said, sure. He's shaking his head, though. He's laughing at me. All right. How are we feeling? How are we feeling? Everybody doing okay? Send your questions through. Yes, yes. Hello from Janice. Hi from Toronto. Resting Pinky made a huge difference for me to get, oh, it slipped away, control, I'm guessing is what she said. All right. Okay, so we got the press and lift. Let's just do some press, drag, and lift. Let's switch out the brush, though. I'm going to go to my number 2 round. Number 2 round. Friends, I have some advice for you for these exercises. This is important. Hear me. Maybe Adam will put this up on the screen. Be instinctual and make quick decisions. Don't mull over how to do these marks. Just go. See how, notice how fast I'm talking. That's how fast I'm thinking. That's how fast I'm making these decisions. All right, we're going to do a press, drag, and lift at an angle on the page. Press, drag, and lift. Let the paint run out. Press, drag, lift. Press, drag, lift. I'm letting the paint run out. I'm running into the yellow. It looks pretty. Press, drag, lift. Press, drag, lift. Press, drag, lift. And I'm just going to let that paint run out. That's gorgeous. Gorgeous. Can you please explain where you use the mop brush and where the round? That's a great question. I actually don't have a mop brush out. Let me see if I can grab one quick. Yep. I actually have Paulina Bright's, one of her mop brushes. So I'm going to grab that quick. A mop brush, I believe Paulina's mop brushes are synthetic. Somebody can check me on that. But mop brushes by design hold a lot more water, even in the synthetic realm. But, you know, they still could be considered a round. I would tend to use a mop brush when I'm wanting bigger washes. I want more coverage. Let's go do some press, drag, and lift with the mop brush. Give you a good look at that right there. That's a mop brush. It's a smaller one, but it is one. Press, drag, lift. You can get, and those bristles spread really nicely. They're softer, the way they're constructed. Press, drag, and lift. So a mop brush I would use if I were doing more splashy work where I wanted a lot of coverage. Mop brushes, though, like traditional round brushes, you can get in nooks and crannies. Mop brushes do. Good mop brushes come to a nice fine point. I'm going to show you really thin line. With this particular one, that's about as thin as I can get right there. But you can still, you know, get into nooks and crannies depending on your pressure. If anyone's ever watched Paulina Bright where she paints in those backgrounds and she uses one mop brush and she's just getting into those nooks and crannies real easily. Yeah. Now, traditional round brush I would use when I want more control. When I want more control. I'll show you these side by side so you can see what I mean. There's a number 6. This is Paulina's number 1 mop. You know, the numberings are very arbitrary, but you can see you're going to get more control with this number 6 with the fine point, but you're going to get juiciness, a lot of water loading with the mop. Hopefully that answers the question. All right, let's try to get the thinnest line possible with our number 2. Let's get in here and get the thinnest line possible. Now, think about, to get the thinnest line possible, I'm going to go perpendicular. I'm going to be holding my brush down by the ferrule, and I'm going to go perpendicular. Now, this is going to work well for a straight line, right? If I want a curvy line, I'm not going to go as perpendicular. I'm going to go, oh, I don't know what degree angle this is. Adam, what degree angle is this right here?
About 60.
About a 60-degree angle. And I'm going to get loopy lines very easily and effortlessly. So friends, the point in me saying all this, I don't want you to think about your angles always in terms of, well, I'm a 60-degree angle, I'm a 45-degree angle, I got to figure this out before I lay a stroke down. No. What I'm saying is I would like for you to just know and remember that changing the angle of your brush changes your stroke so much. Will these vertical press and lifts damage the tip of the round brush? You mean like the going perpendicular? I'll be honest, friends, I use synthetic. I'm going to answer this question this way. I use synthetic, and I am very hard on my brushes. I am constantly changing the angles of my brushes, and my brushes, I have so many brushes because I rarely throw any out. I think I threw out a discontinued aqua tip from 1993, like a year ago. Finally threw it out. Like, seriously. So please don't worry about your brushes and how you're using them. For the most part, I mean, you want to be a little more precious with the actual mediums you're using with natural bristle brushes, like I mentioned back when we were going over the chart. But if you're using synthetics, just go all in. Go all in. You're going to have a really hard time ruining these brushes. They are meant to be used. They are meant to be maneuvered. And I don't want fear of ruining them holding you back. Because you know what that fear is? Could you put my face up? I want them to see my face for this. Just my face. It's important. Hi. And my camera arm. I want to say this, and I want you to see my face when I say this because it's important. Oftentimes, and this is not a critique of the person that asked the question, not whatsoever, please know that. But oftentimes these questions about, will doing this ruin my brush? Will using it this way use up too much paint? Usually these are questions that come out of just a general state of fear about progressing. And I know that sounds strange, like why would I be afraid of progressing? But that is a fear that lives in all of us. I have a video that talks about art wounds. We all have art wounds. Some are big, some are small. And a lot of our fear, a lot of the tactical fear comes from those art wounds. So use your supplies, use them well, use them creatively, and don't worry so much about ruining them. And I know that these supplies are expensive and they are an investment, but if you are taking good care of them after, washing them, drying them properly, you're good to go. That's all you need to worry about. All right, let's get back to painting. Any video that I mentioned here live today, friends, I am going to be linking below. And you will have access to that video whenever you need it. Yes, I just hit my husband because he didn't put the screen back to where I wanted it. How do you hold your brush? Can you read that question for me, Adam?
How do you hold so much paint on your brush? I have to keep adding paint to my brush. Is it my Canon XL paper?
Yeah, it's probably your Canon XL paper. Friend, can you follow up and let me know what brush you are using? And then I will be able to more robustly answer this question. What are the recommendations for brush sizes and shapes for beginners? Can anybody guess what I'm going to say for that one? A dagger, a 1/4-inch dagger it's the only brush you need. I'm biased, but I believe in that recommendation wholeheartedly. 1/4-inch dagger, not all daggers are made equal. You want a dagger with a shorter bristle and a stiffer bristle. Just so wonderful for beginners. Here is my own Art for Joy's Sake dagger. We do offer these. Well, no, seriously, no pressure, but in case you're wondering, we're going to pop that QR code up on the screen for the brushes. I love a dagger because there's nothing like it in terms of versatility. If you don't have a lot of money to spend and you want to get the most bang for your buck, with a dagger, you've got a tiny, tiny, tiny point. You've got a broad curved edge. You've got a nice fat belly to the main part of the brush. And you've even got this long straight edge here that I do use. So it's just incredible brush. Hands down, hands down. It's my favorite. Thank you, Mary. She says my set is perfect. Thank you so much. Rita, my paintbrush collection. Sheila, thank you. Y'all are so sweet to me. Y'all are so sweet to me. All right. So we're going to do the thickest line possible. We did the thinnest lines. Let's make the thickest line possible, but with our number 2. This is another thing I want you to think about. I want you to think about using unlikely brushes in situations. So if you wanted a thick line, you usually would go to a bigger brush, right? But what if you don't have a bigger brush? Or what if you're in the moment, you don't feel like pulling it out? Let's see what we can get out of this thin brush. I am holding it kind of first third from the tip in that area. And I'm holding it, my brush is kind of horizontal, parallel with my paper, and I'm going to go down. Look at that thick stroke you can get with a number 2. Look at that. Look at that. I can get that same stroke with a number 6. It's easier. It's a different kind of stroke. I can get it, but I can get it with a number 2. I can certainly get it with a number 12. Totally different, but very cool, just the same. All right, I want you to take a few notes. Things that you want to remember. Angle of your hand. You want to think about pressure, how hard you're pressing. You want to think about angle of the brush. And I think what you're seeing, what at least I'm hoping what your aha moment is holy moly, there are so many combinations. I can get so much out of one blessed brush, right? And not currently, no, they're sold as a set. And then the fourth thing you want to remember is using the least likely brush for a situation to see what kind of surprises you get out of it. So those are the 4 things I want to really for you to take away. And we're going to continue on here. Angle of the brush, angle of your hand, pressure, angle of the brush, and using the least likely brush in a situation to create some unexpected magic. All right, we're moving on. I'm going to label this one. I am going to label this one. This was our round page. But look how gorgeous this page is. You could cut this up. You could turn these into note cards, bookmarks, whatever. This is beauty. This is beauty. This is practice. This is exercise. These are drills beautifully. All right, moving on. Let's keep those questions coming. You know what? Before we move on, let's do a giveaway. Kelly, get ready, darling, because this is going to be difficult. This is going to be a challenge. Are you ready, my friend? Are you ready to make this happen? I'm going to go grab the giveaway. We are going to, this is going to be really interesting. Who has the birthday closest to today? Go ahead in comments. Let us know if your birthday is closest to today. I'm talking, is your birthday today? Is it tomorrow? Is it next week? Is it next month? Let's do it. Let's figure it out. Because whoever has the birthday that's closest today is going to win. I'm going to ship it to you. You're going to win this. And I'm going to tell you what this is. It's pretty special. I was at a creek dinner. I had dinner in a creek on Sunday, and it was a celebration of life. A bunch of creatives and artists gathered. Kelly, watch out for those birthdays. I need you to figure out who's closest to today. All right. Your husband doesn't count, Jennifer. And sorry, friends, this, if you are watching on the replay, this is just for our live friends. So I do apologize. So this was my offering. This was my gift. It's a sweet little tote. And it is a calendar of the remaining days of 2022. And the message is, these days will be my offering. And it's all hand painted, and it's just lovely. So it's this lovely little swirly calendar. This is basically a 5-month calendar. These are the days that we have left in this year. This is it. How are we going to use these days? Let these days be our offering. Let these days be our gift back to the world for the gifts that God has given us. Whatever higher power you believe in, for me, it is God. And I want to give back. He has blessed me tremendously, and I want to give back and offer myself, my talents, my gifts, my abilities back into the world. And so that's what this is all about. Now, it doesn't end there. You're going to get the Art for Joy's Sake palette. If you already have it, well, then you can just pay it forward, and you're going to get, oh, this one's bent. Good heavens, this one got sat on. You are going to get the Dagger brush, friends. You're going to get the Art for Joy's Sake Dagger brush. There you go. All right. All right. So Kelly's going to figure out who the winner is. Kelly, when you figure out who the winner is, will you pop them up on screen for a time? And then whoever is the winner, will you please just email us? Adam's going to put the email up on screen. hello@kristyrice.com. attention Kristen. She is our shop manager, and she will, if you'll give us your shipping address, she will mail that out to you pronto. All right, we're going to keep painting as we figure out the birthday wars here. Oh, stop. Seriously, the crazy world of Christopher. Are you serious? Your birthday's on Friday? Does anybody have a birthday earlier than Friday? Let's see. We're going to move on to daggers as we're figuring this out, friends. This is so fun. All right, I have a 1/2 inch dagger. I have my 1/4 inch dagger. Friends, you get the first look. You get the first look at my new, are you ready for this? 3/4 inch dagger. Yeah, I made a 3/4 inch dagger. I'm really excited about it. Anywho, slow down, Kristy. Relax yourself, Kristy. My husband's laughing at me. Okay, why do I love daggers? Versatility, curved edge, beautiful fine tip, broad belly, can make big, bold strokes, even with the smallest dagger. I also have an 1/8 inch dagger. Yes, I made an 1/8 inch dagger, and they're all coming in the Free of Fear brush collection. It's coming soon. Okay, and then you have the flat edge as well. All right, let's get into it. Oh, these are also sometimes mistakenly called swords. I think is rigger, or no, it's rigger a liner. Somebody will tell me. Angle brushes, but a dagger, a true dagger, has a curved edge, not a straight edge. All right. What is your favorite sketchbook? Reasonably priced, decent quality. I've got it right here. I've got it right here. This is the Etcher. I believe it's 100% cotton. They do call it a mixed media sketchbook. See the little Etcher embroidered logo. And I'll just flip through because this is fun. Why not? I love it. It's like, it's not quite 140 pound. It's a little bit less, it feels like, but it takes all of it beautifully. I do a lot of my swatching in here. This is from a video. You might have seen it. It's really lovely. It's like sewn binding. This is my foray into some portraiture I've been working on this year. Again, I've been working on more portraiture very quietly. I haven't shared this at all. You might remember this lesson. So anyway, this is my favorite. Oh, you remember the 70-year-old watercolors? I might have to link to some of these videos. This was me in the final planning stages of my palette. Anywho, love this sketchbook. It's fantastic. Comes in all different sizes. They actually sent me a bunch of other ones recently. So yeah, I mean, look how it takes the color. It does beautifully. I'm excited for new brushes. Are you going to have an extended needle tip? I need to know what that means. Why don't I know what an extended needle tip is? Somebody educate me. I feel kind of silly right now that I don't know what that is. Anywho, let's get on with it, and we will get maybe some more insight on this needle tip situation. All right, upstrokes with your dagger, curved edge down. I'm holding it out here in the top third area. The further out you hold your brush, the less control, but the more fluidity you're gonna get in your stroke. Give that a try. Get going on a couple of those. Hold it out way far with just the tips of your fingers. Don't hold it like this. I mean, you could hold it like this. Let's hold it like this. You're going to get a different stroke. But tips of your fingers, reload as you need, and just see what happens. Hey, loud chair over there. All right, look at that. Gorgeous. All right. Keep those questions coming. Let's get into it. A downstroke with this big old 3/4 dagger. I'm so excited about. Let's hold her perpendicular. So like a T in relationship to the page. And let's hold it so the tip is pointing directly away from us. And we're going to go down. And we're going to go down. And we're going to go down. We're going to do some crisscrosses. And let's crisscross over here. Look at these strokes you can get. I mean, imagine what you can do with these, right? Imagine. I do a lot of stems, petals, right? A lot of stuff like that. So good. I was finally able to order your palette yesterday. Thank you. Sorry, friends, these comments are going so fast. What is the difference between the Dagger brush and the striker? I believe the striker is got instead of it being a curved edge, it's straight. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I very well could be wrong. You put me on the spot. But I believe that is it. What kind of brush are you using? I asked because I'm sure this is important with other strokes. I'm using daggers right now, friends. We're in the dagger section. And I've got a 3/4 inch, an 1/8 inch, a 1/4 inch, and a 1/2 inch dagger. Daggers are my favorite brush on the planet. I love them so much. All right. Let's do some upstrokes. Let's do some upstrokes. I've got the curved edge facing towards me. And we're going to go up. And we're going to press. And we're going to not press. And we're going to undulate. Press and lift. Press and lift. And that curved edge is facing towards me. Remember, filling these pages is about instinct and as much variety as humanly possible. He's making so much noise. Our AV guy is slacking over here. Listen to all this noise. Oh my good. Okay, you're fired. No, you can't be fired because I can't continue if you're not here. Downstroke. Down. Look how tight I'm holding it. This brush down far. Please show how you hold such a big brush. Oh, how I load it in the half pan. Sure. I know there's a lot of concern about this because half pans are small. The question was, show us how I'm loading such a big brush. The key, the number one thing is make sure your pans are juicy. If you're digging into that half pan, trying to get them re-wet, you're going to feel frustrated. But if you make sure that your pans are juicy ahead of time, being able to load, see how I'm doing that? Going at an angle, dip, dip, dip. But because it's already juicy, those pans are already juicy, that color just kind of soaks right into my brush. My brush is also damp. So your pans are damp, your brush is damp, and it's just going to go the minute you touch it. And while we're at it, let's do let's see how thick of a stroke we can get. Down. And the point is facing to my left. Look at that. Ugh. Rinse. Let's do some ombre. Remember yesterday, let's do some ombre. Downstroke. Oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that gorgeous broad stroke. All right, horizontal from left. Let's do thin. I'm holding it perpendicular and the point is facing to my left. Thin, 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 thin. Let's hold it the other way. The point of that dagger is to my right. Here we go. Oh, that's gorgeous. Let's undulate. Press, lift, press, lift. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm wiggling a little bit. And as you're doing these, imagine how you can use these strokes in real life. Let's go to the 1/8 inch dagger and do a press and lift. So I'm going to go with a nice green. This is one of my favorite greens. How often do you need new watercolor pans with new paint? It depends, honestly, on the colors I'm using. I mean, you can see with this palette, my yellow, I use this yellow a lot. I use the pink a lot. This is a newer palette, though. I've only been using this one for about a week. I paint every day, and over the last 6 weeks or so, I've been painting primarily with my palette for reasons you could imagine. But I haven't, I've been we're talking 6 weeks, 7 weeks on some of these palettes. I have one that I've been painting with, almost daily for, like 4 months, because it was a sample. and I haven't run out of anything. So they last quite a while. It depends on the brand. Depends on how much you paint and what your favorite colors are. Press and lift, press and lift, press and lift. Perpendicular, press and lift, and bounce. And I know this is making some of y'all nervous, like I'm putting a lot of down pressure. But look at these gorgeous scratchy marks. Let the paint run out. Brushes are meant to be used, my friends. Brushes are meant to be handled and moderately abused, because that's when the magic happens. These brushes can handle it. They can handle it, I promise you. All right, next we have our press, drag, and lift. I'm going to stick with the 1/8" Dagger, and yes, this is going to be part of the new Free from Fear brush collection. We're going to I've got the curved edge down. Let me try to show you this. There's your curved edge. It's tiny. Press, drag it out, slowly lift. Press, drag it out. I'm holding this brush down on the ferrule. I'm holding it way down, and most of the action is coming from these two knuckles. Question. Can you read that to me?
Pretty other questions. Can you show how you load that big dagger in a small pan like that?
Oh, yes. We just did that, but just make sure your pan is sprayed and juicy and your brush is damp, and it's just going to soak up that paint. I'm just dabbing it, just dabbing it, and I've got a full brush of paint. So just make sure your pan is juicy and your brush is damp or wet, and you'll be fine. These paints, this is my Art for Joy's Sake palette. That's what I've been using today. I have links below for that. It's this little beauty. We can pop up a QR code for that. Oh, look at him. He's showing off now because I was mad at him about the chair noise. He's just on it. He's on it. Anywho, actually, so someone asked, how long does it take? This is the palette I've been using for about 4 months. And you can see, I mean, I'm using it. She's getting down there, but I've been using it for a while, and there's tons of paint still left. Anywho, this is my little Art for Joy's Sake palette, 12 highly curated colors. Some are more opaque, some are very sheer. Lots of fun going on there. How long should I expect them to last? If you're using them every day, and I find that in general, I'm using mine fairly equally when it all comes right down to it. I mean, some weeks I'm using one more than another. But I mean, if you're painting every day, say an 8x10, every day with this palette exclusively, I could expect that this is going to last you a year. Yeah, that's what I would expect. And of course, are you going to paint with it every day? I don't know. But yeah, it's going to last. These are lovely and soft. And I think some people are panicking. We get some emails like, my pink is running down, my yellow is running down, my green. But they are softer, but they're also super, super saturated. So that's why a little bit goes a long way, and you're not going to be using as much as you think you are. So, all right, where were we? We were press, drag, and lift. Let's do a couple more press, drag, and lift. Curved edge down. I'm going to hold the brush halfway. Press, drag, and lift. Press, drag, and lift. Press, drag, and lift. Press, drag, and lift. There we go. This looks like some kind of crazy landscape, doesn't it? That's kind of cool. I love these because it's almost like looking at clouds. It's like all of a sudden you look up, you take a breath, you take a beat, and it turned into something. And that's really cool. Thank you, Mustard Seed Planter. Beautiful colors, she says. Lab accident. I have a lifetime's worth of paint probably. Even so, it's tempting. Friends, I will say, did you put a ticker at the bottom of the... Oh my gosh.
Nope.
He's getting it. We need a dragon emoji because people say it sounds like I'm saying dragon, press, dragon, lift. He's just getting a little slap happy over here, Mr. Adam. Forgive me if this was already asked and answered, but will there be an option to purchase individual pans as refills? Maria, yes, actually right now on KristyRice.com. Kelly will get that link for you. There are limited refill pans available only through KristyRice.com, not through Amazon. The full palette is available through Amazon. Limited amount of refills available right now through KristyRice.com. All right. Let's get on it. Let's use our biggest. Remember, using the least likely brush for a situation. I want to get the thinnest line possible, but I'm going to use the biggest brush. All right, because I'm telling you, situations like this, hear me, and Adam, get ready to put another ticker up, crazy man. When you choose the worst possible tool for a situation, you have the most to learn. I'm going to say it again. When you choose the most unlikely or the worst tool for a situation, you have the most to learn. All right. So I'm going to load her up. I'm going to have the flat edge down, and I'm going to try to get the thinnest line that I can. Oh yeah, baby. I need a little more water. I'm just going to dip, and dab. Dip into a little bit of water. Let's do this. Flat edge down. I'm holding this brush way down on the ferrule. And light touch. Look at that, friends. Look at that massive dagger. Look at, I'm thinking stems. I'm thinking branches. I'm thinking fur textures. I'm thinking you could pick up this brush and paint with it for 3 hours and never have to pick up another brush. And you would learn more by doing that than you would with 10, 15, 20 brushes at your ready. There's a brush called a lizard lick. Kelly, can you put that comment about the lizard lick brush? Because I need to, that just flew past. I couldn't read it. I want to know what that's all about. A lizard lick brush. Look at these. Look at these thin marks with the most unexpected brush. If you look at Cheap Joe's, there's a brush called a lizard lick. It has a thicker belly than a lot. Can you read that, please? The lizard lick.
If you look at Cheap Joe's, there's a brush called Lizard's Lick. It has a thicker belly than the long tip. It's just a few hairs.
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna have to check it out. Thank you, Mary. Mary, will you email me about that? Because I need to know what that. I need to buy that brush. Cool. How long will your pigments last in a painting before they start to fade? Okay, so we're asking about light fastness. So any kind of light fastness discussion, I'm going to move on to the cat's tongue while we do this, friends, because we got a lot to go here. And we time. My pigments, except for the fluorescent, all have what is classified as a good light fastness rating. And so they're all around a 7. I believe 8 is the best. They've all been verified by a licensed, they do, I forget what they're called. They do light fast tests, that they do the blue wool tests. And they were done, my paints are manufactured in China. I'm very honest about that. But they basically have a company that does them, English speaking company that verifies all the results. And I have documentation of all of that. Now, any fluorescent paint is going to have a low light fast rating. I do still consider these professional quality because light fastness isn't the only question of professional quality. The other thing that you can do, there are UV protectant sprays. So if you're concerned about, well, I mixed my yellow with other colors that are more light fast, the yellow is going to affect the light fastness of those colors, then I would just recommend finishing your pieces with that UV protectant spray. And if you do sell pieces that you create with this palette, recommend that the owners put them under UV glass and you'll be just fine. Another color in my palette that has a lower light fast rating of about a 5 is the red. But again, there are many ways that you can kind of work around that. Now, if you are closer to the equator, light fastness is a much bigger question for you. So light fast question is a big one. I do talk a lot about it in different places. I've talked about it on Instagram. And if you actually go on my paint listing, a lot of people have asked questions and I've answered those questions about light fastness with videos. So you can watch those as well. Could you read that question for me?
My first watercolor set has beautiful colors, but the paint pans don't stay wet or juicy, and they sometimes look gritty. What causes that dryness and grit? Is
Yes.
it a kind of binder or pigment?
It is most definitely the binder. It is probably, I don't want to make assumptions that are offensive, but it sounds to me like it might be a student grade set. And a lot of times student grade sets, to make them more affordable, we're moving on to the cat's tongue, friends. They will use binders, chalky binders, binders that do present as gritty from time to time. So I think of like Artist Loft. Artist Loft, you can get some good colors out of them, but they do feel a little chalky and gritty at times. So that is probably, without knowing exactly what you're using, that is probably what is going on. We're doing some downstrokes here with the cat's tongue. Friends, I love the cat's tongues. They're like the cool like step cousin of the Dagger. They've got the nice big belly, but they come to a point in the middle. Some cat's tongues have like a dimensional point that isn't perfect. It's like a scruffy point. And some have a beautiful, perfect thin point. The smaller the cat's tongue, like this one, the more rigid it's going to feel. And the larger the cat's tongue is going to feel, you're going to feel more fluidity when you use it. All right, so let's do some upstrokes. I'm going to hold this kind of parallel to the paper and stroke upwards. Look at that. You could load up real heavy just on the tip. Make sure the rest of your brush is just dipped in water, and look at that. Look what you can get. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, so good. So good. Cat's tongue. I hope some of you are going to be doing some of these exercises with me on the replay with whatever brushes you have. This is a great way to get to know your brushes, your arsenal, right? That's what I call it, my arsenal. All right. Sherry, this brush, this larger cat's tongue is part of the new Free from Fear set that's coming. And this cat's tongue is from the Art for Joy's Sake that is currently available. All right, let's do some downstroke, but I'm going to go with the point facing outward and down. Let's make that thin. I'm going to go to a 45-degree angle and down. Notice where I'm holding the brush on the handle and down. I'm going to go dry brush. Let's go up. We're getting some, let's go really thin up. Dry brush. Look at that. How could you use these strokes? Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Let's do our horizontal from the left and the right. See what happens. About a 45-degree angle again. Nice, moderate, thick line. Let's undulate. Press and lift. 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 All right, let's go to the bigger one here. I have Sakura Koi watercolors and I want to upgrade. What would you recommend as a step up from that grade? You know, the quality is excellent. I always found, though, that the color range was a bit disappointing with Sakura, with the Kois. There's two sets. There's three sets that I would recommend as an upgrade, depending on which way you'd want to go. Mozart's has, it's Mozart's Komarebi. I'll have Adam put up the Amazon link to all my Amazon favorites. If you go into Great Beginner Watercolors, Mozart's Komarebi is a really affordable set, and it's a step up because of the range of colors. Similar quality, but a step up because of the range of colors. Another step up, but in quality and color, what I would recommend would be, could be my set, the Art for Joy's Sake brush collection. It's a really curious collection of colors, but fantastic quality. And then another great step up could be, honestly, look into some of the handmade watercolors that are out there. Ruby Mountain Co. We've got, oh gosh, Case for Making would be an amazing step up. Beautiful handmade colors. I just think you might really enjoy that transition from mass produced to handmade. That could be really fun for you. But that Komarebi, because it's so affordable and accessible, like I would say get that one to like today and have some fun with that to get yourself going and get something new going. I think you're going to really enjoy that one. All right, let's go horizontal line from the other way with the bigger brush. Let the paint run out. Let's see how thick we can get this. Pretty thick. Get more water on the brush. You're going to get a wider stroke. It's going to spread more. See that? See that? So it's also about the water on your brush. That's more of a brush handling question. I'm going to link that brush handling video below. I'm not the brush handling. I'm sorry, the water control, because water control is another aspect that affects brush handling. Friends, yes, keep the handmade watercolor recommendations going in the comment section. It's just fantastic. What is different in the Art for Joy's Sake versus the Free from Fear brush sets? So the Art for Joy's Sake brush collection, real quick, are these. Let me grab it here. They're very different. There's no crossover. 1, 2, 3. What are we missing? Oh my gosh, I can't remember. Oh, this Dagger. Yes. Okay. This is the Art for Joy's Sake brush collection. 1/2 inch dagger, 1/4 inch dagger, 3/4 inch flat wash, number 2 round. There's a link to it up on the screen. Liner brush and a smaller cat's tongue. All right. The new brush set is going to have, let me grab them all. And it's going to have a teeny tiny little brush. Like these are my samples. The 3/4 inch dagger. It's going to have the 1/8 inch dagger. It's going to have the number 6 cat's tongue. It's going to have a number 6 filbert. It's going to have a number 12 round, maybe a 14 round. We haven't decided yet. And then 3/0 super fine, teeny tiny detail brush. That's going to be the Free from Fear set. There we go. All right, moving on, friends. Let's keep going. Let's see how thin of a line we can make with the big old cat's tongue. Where is she? There she is. Load her up. She's got a gorgeous fine point. Adam, could you read me that question?
The fluorescent yellow is wild. What made you decide on that particular color? I've seen how it blends with your other colors. Very nice.
Yeah, so it was a surprising choice. Great question. Thank you for asking it. I wanted the folks to have the ability to make a really beautiful orange. I knew I wanted a fluorescent. And yellow just made sense given that. And, you know, we didn't have a yellow in the set yet, and it just fell into place. And then when I started mixing, you know, it's a fluorescent yellow, but it has a creaminess to it. And when I saw what it was able to mix with the other colors that I knew I was including with this set, I saw the magical stuff that was happening, the unexpected stuff that was happening. I'm holding my brush perpendicular right now, point facing straight down, and I'm doing a wiggle line. So when I saw that compared to, say, the fluorescent pink I tried a fluorescent blue. It had so much more magic. The magic factor of the fluorescent yellow was off the charts compared to the other fluorescents. So yeah, that's why I chose it. All right, friends, let's move on to the flat brush. And I just want to remind you of the really important points here. Go back to our first page. Think about the angle of your hand, the pressure on the paper, the angle of the brush, and using the least likely brush to challenge yourself. All right. Here's our flat. Let's do an upstroke. This is another example of how to load a big brush in tiny half pans. Make sure your half pans are nice and juicy and your brush is wet and you'll be good to go. Upstroke. Here we go. Up, up. Add some water. Go right next door for an ombre upstroke. Look at that. This is flat. This is our flat brush. Friends, I'm going to go off charts here. Thin line. I'm just going to do whatever. I'm going to do a stream of consciousness. I'm going off script because I feel like it. Let's go off script. I'm going to just try to describe what I'm doing as quickly as I can. I'm holding it perpendicular, but I'm pressing up and then down for a thin line, and then up and down for a thin line. Let's do this on a smaller scale, because what could we do with this in real life? Up, down on a smaller scale. Up, down. This could be start of the mountains, and you fill them in, zhuzh them in with other colors, and you have yourself a mountain range. Hello! Boom. This is the magic of loving your brush, being one with your brush, being comfortable with your brush. And fill her in again and repeat again. What could this be? Ocean waves, button blue. Right? 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 All right, I'm going to load up with yellow. Let's do a horizontal from left to right. Left to right. Let's do a downstroke right down through it with a different color that shows up better. Look at that. Not rinsing my brush, grabbing a brown. Let's do a press and curve. Press and curve. Press and curve. Look at that. So good. All right. I do this a lot for branches in my loose watercolors. I will press lightly and create little craggy, simple, crotchety looking branches. And then I'll grab another brush. Yes, I have a brush in my mouth right now. It's all good. And I'll add leaves. And I'll add leaves. Oh yeah. Look at that. Look at that. This is the flow. This is the joy zone, friends. This is the flow. Keep your questions coming. Keep your questions coming. Don't forget, we're going to paint together, friends. We are going to paint a quick landscape soon. This is our flat brush. This is a free form. This is our free form drill. All right. Let's keep going. A couple more strokes. I'm loading up, loading up. Read that question for me.
Something I learned from you today, Kristy, is that I've always practiced on my less expensive pad by pulling each sheet out first. From now on, I'm just going to leave the pad intact.
Oh, that is such a good point. I do try to leave the pad intact because it helps with wrinkling. I mean, this is a really affordable paper, and I'm putting a lot of water on here, and she's really not buckling terribly at all. So great. I'm so glad that was helpful. Could you read that one to me too? Just read it to me.
Not gonna lie, Kristy's beautiful tin pushed me over the edge. So glad it did, as paints don't disappoint.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad. I'm so glad to hear that. I really did feel like there was just something missing in terms of the beauty of tins out there. So that was definitely a driving factor. All right, friends, we're going to move on to the Filbert. If you're painting along with me today, let me know, what brushes are you drilling with? I want to know what brushes you're drilling with. All right, the Filbert is part of the new set. Did I say that when I mentioned it before? I might have missed that one. So here's a Filbert, friends. Nice big belly. And it tapers slightly as you get to the top. Does not come to a point though. It's a nice rounded edge. Let's see what we can do with our Filbert. Let's go. Upstroke. I'm holding the brush a third of the way up from the tip. Upstroke. Reloading. Upstroke. Let's do some strokes. Let's just think flower, because this is where this brush really, really shines. Jenna Rainey, I'm mentioning her again. she did a whole video on this brush. So press, lift, a little bit of a drag. Look at that. Change your curve a little bit and twist. Change your curve a little bit and twist. No, she can't. There we go. Think flowers. This is kind of a downstroke or a side stroke. Look at what you can do with this. Look at that. That's the magic of a Filbert. Yes, I'm thinking about a quill brush. Yes. Yes, that's what I'm thinking about for a future. I'm always thinking about. All right, let's try to get a really thin line out of this. I'm holding it perpendicular far down on the ferrule. And let's see. Nice, nice thin. I could see this being used in landscapes for sure. I'm thinking like seashell kind of a situation here. Look at that. That's a seashell, just boom. That's a loosey-goosey seashell, if I ever saw one. Wouldn't you say? Look at that. Oh, heck yeah. Dry brush action. Ooh, I was not planning this, but I'm going with it. A little brown up here in the peach. And there we go. Why not? Why not? I came here to the game today, so maybe I didn't catch which pad you're using. Would you mind telling me now? Yes, I'm using the Gen Crafts. This is the winner of my best budget paper video, and I will post that link below after this live. And yeah, this was my pick for best budget paper. And the budget papers were $1 or under a sheet, and this was far under $1. If I remember off the top of my head, it was like in the 30-cent range somewhere. All right, we're still on the Filbert. Let's see, can we do some thin horizontal? Again, perpendicular. What happens if we go in kind of a 45? What happens if we hold the brush on its side, not on the tip, but on its side, and hold the brush way out on the end of the handle? Look at that. And I'm getting a drag. My Filbert, the metal part of that brush, is dragging, but why not? Let's do some scratchy stuff. Look at this. Look at that. That's not going to ruin your brush, friends. It's just a whole new world, a whole new way to use it. Let's do some more of that scratching. Think about that. I want to tell you a story of a college professor conversation that she had with me. Really interesting. It was a figure drawing class, and I'm just going to keep kind of stream of consciousness brush drills here, friends. And I was so excited because we had transitioned from charcoal, which was, gosh, just so boring for me. And we were starting to use, she was letting us bring in whatever medium into our figure drawing during our sessions. And I, of course, brought in my watercolors. And I was so excited, maybe a little boastful because, you know, I was always the watercolor queen in my hometown and all the things. And I knew where it was at. I knew what to do. I knew it all, right? And, you know, she was watching me, and I had sketched the figure, and then I started filling in. And I used the words filling in. I'm going to show you how I was doing it. And I would go into a leg or a tendon or an arm, and I would just do some of this. And it was almost like I was coloring. It was like using my brush like a pencil. Like I was shading, and I was doing that over and over everywhere. And everywhere I was approaching in the same way. And that professor came over, and she said this to me, and I'll never forget it. She said, Kristy, I want you to think about different ways that you could touch the paper with your brush. maybe you would just press down and lift quickly. Or maybe you would press down and stroke down really fast and exit the paper quickly. Or maybe what would happen if you put the brush down and drug it slowly and followed the contour of the leg. And in that moment, I was like, you know, because remember, here's me. I'm just like, my face is getting closer to the page and I am just scrubbing these shapes to death the same way over and over. And maybe I would get in there with a different color and do some wet and wet. And I thought, and I was getting these, you know, these ombres, these gradients. And I thought I had mastered watercolor. And so when she, my husband's laughing at me. So when she taught me brush handling, in that moment, she gave me a crash course in brush handling. My mind was blown. Absolutely blown. So I just wanted to tell that story because I thought it was helpful. And we're going to move on to the liner brush, friends. And on the same page, we're going to do the detail brush. And I think I am going to, friends, we're going to do a little sound test here because unfortunately, the phone that is controlling the sound, yes, I do film these on my phone, is running out of juice. And so I have to unplug the microphone to get some power in here. So hopefully let me know how the sound is. If it's terrible, we're just going to have to deal with it. How do I sound, friends? How's the sound? Is it horribly different? Let me know in comments, but I don't want to run out of juice. That would be sad, right? Sound is good. Sound is fine. Perfect. Can you read that to me? Just read them when they come up because I'm having a hard time reading those.
Just got a Princeton 1/4" stroke brush. It is long but flat ends. Looking for ways to use it. Any tips?
It is long
but flat ends.
Can you pull that up for me on the screen so I can see what it looks like and then I'll answer that question? Like not on our screen, but can you just Google that and see what that looks like?
Oh.
So I can answer the question.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. We've got our liner brush, friends, and we've got our detail brush. Have Kelly put the question back up if she can. All right, so I'm going to blow your mind with the liner brush a little bit because we know that we can use a liner brush. Most of us know, some of us know, maybe we know, maybe you don't. So let's go over it. Light strokes. We did a little bit of it yesterday. Light, loose, whimsical. This is where we can do that gorgeous kind of dimensional detail in our flowers, stuff like this, right? Yes. So basically it looks like your brush that you're speaking of is a Filbert, a longer Filbert with a blunt edge. Honestly, the brush could be great for floral painting, but you're just going to need to think about the angle at which you're holding that brush. I don't have one as an example to use, but you're going to use it a lot like a flat brush like this. But it seems that it does have a little bit of a taper that a traditional flat brush does not have. So you're going to use it a lot like a flat brush. So if you do some drills, go back to the flat brush drill section of this video when you rewatch. I think a lot of those drills will be helpful. I call this brush, my flat brush, one of the most shockingly versatile brushes because you don't think it's going to be versatile, but it is. And I think you're going to find that with this Princeton brush that you're talking about. So you'll have to let us know, get back, maybe come back in comments when you've had a chance to use it and let us know. I'm curious. All right, back to the liner. Here we go. Let's do a downstroke. I'm going to hold this like I were conducting music, right? And we're going to downstroke. Am I blowing your mind right now? Because look at the crazy. I'm thinking cliff sides. I'm thinking loosey-goosey waterfalls, my friends. Look at what you can do. Just add some water, Look at what you can do. I can't even take the gorgeousness of this. I'm going to go down. I want you to see this closer. I can't even handle the wow factor that is using this brush in an uncommon way. Look at this. You need to try this. I'm thinking about my art professor here. I'm thinking about how she turned my brain inside out that day. And I never used the brushes that I owned the same again. Every time I touched the paper, I thought about how can I be even more weird? How can I up my weird game with the way that I use this brush? And I think I need to credit that professor for really helping me discover my weird when it came to brushes. I do have a video about finding your weird, harnessing your weird. And I think that's half the battle, half the mindset challenge when we are on this journey as beginners, as moderates, even as professionals. It's recognizing our weird and harnessing it so we can use it in a little bit more of a predictable way. But look at this texture I am getting from this liner brush. Look. How do I get a notice from you about these live workshops? I did not know this one was happening. And Kat, that is my bad. I do schedule them here on YouTube. So if you're around YouTube, you will see them. They come up at the very top of my main channel page. I have been so crazy, all over the place, busy. I did not send out an email blast about them. That is my bad. But typically we do send out an email blast. So head to KristyRice.com if you could pop that up on the screen and make sure you're part of our email list. And I will make sure I myself and my team kicks me in the pants to make sure that the email blasts go out. Oh, Virginia, thank you. Virginia, subscribe and hit the bell. That will notify you. So yes, if you subscribe and there's a little bell icon, that will notify you. I think it's just called KristyRice.com and overlays. Yeah, thanks. All right. And we've got this teeny tiny detail brush. Now, of course, we're going to use this teeny tiny, I mean, we're thinking hairs, we're thinking eyelashes, we're thinking all the tiny little things, whiskers, stamens of flowers, right? Now, you can use this brush in an uncommon way, but these tiny brushes are more fragile, even if you're using synthetic. So you're not going to see me going and scrubbing this thing. Like, no, I'm just not going to do it. But I'm going to grab something from yesterday. Let's go into this. And I'm going to show you sometimes how I use these. All right. Let's really get in here. Let's just get in here. All right. Now, this is the tiniest little brush. And yes, I could go in and do some lovely things like this. And I'm talking really quiet because it just feels like it makes sense. Right? This is what you'd expect from this brush. But I also I call this like my nook and cranny brush. Now the glasses are coming off because I'm 40. How old am I? 44? Glasses are coming off because I will go in and I will notch out areas and add shadow in a very controlled way with these teeny tiny brushes. Can you see what I'm doing here? And then I will pop that brush in my hair for later. And I will go in with a bigger brush, damp, and I will blendy blend. That was a little too much water. And I will blend out. And I will blend out. And let me tell you, because if I had tried to go into that little area with this brush, it would have been difficult. It would have been harder to control where the paint was going. But with that little bitty baby detail brush, It's in my hair. I'm grabbing it. I can get into the nooks. I can move and groove in the crannies. And I can do things in a very controlled way that I definitely would struggle doing with any other brush. All right, I'm going to repeat that, get a damp brush, and we're going to blend out. Blend. Sometimes a blend backwards. There's that downstroke coming into play. A little bit more water. So this is a in real life look at how you can use those teeny tiny brushes beyond the expected, right? All right. Friends, it's time for us to get into our paint along. And let's pop up our inspiration image for today. I am going to link this inspiration image down below for later on for those who are going to be painting along with me. There she is. This is somewhere in Idaho. I'm going to go ahead and get this on my screen as well. It is just a lovely, classic kind of rolling hill landscape. Where the heck is my picture? There she is. All right. And we're going to paint it. And we're going to just talk about the brushes I'm using as we paint. I am going to just narrate, and I want you, somebody wants me to do liner swirls. As I'm painting, if you're painting along, or maybe you're just watching, I don't want you to think so much about, oh my gosh, how do I get the perspective right? All of that, how do I get that all right? I want you to just think about how you would create these textures, how you would, this back swoosh, how would you in one swoosh with, say, a flat brush, get that backmost mountain range in? All right, that's where we're going to be thinking. Okay, so someone did ask me, I will go ahead and do some swirlies. I'll go ahead. Can we, yeah, thanks. I'll go ahead and do some swirlies. Trying to be mindful and respectful of everyone's time, and I could just gab on forever. Where the heck is my liner brush? I could literally just gab on forever, and I do gab on forever. And so I kind of sped through. So tendrils are a great thing with the liner brush. And you want to you're thinking of like this kind of motion, the movement's coming from your full arm. And you do with a synthetic liner, you want to make sure you have the perfect amount of, so it's about a 60-40, 60 water, 40 pigment. And you are literally hovering over the page, barely touching down. This part of your hand is on the paper, so you want to make sure everything else is dry, and it's kind of grounding you a little bit. This is fun. Fill a whole page with these swirly do curly cues, right? Fill a whole page. That could be your drill with this brush. So fantastic. Just do stuff like this. And it's a great way to loosen up and create that familiarity with these movements, right? Doesn't that look like fun? So good. I love kind of coming from a central point. Like here, I keep building from this point and working out. It's a great way to, again, build that memory, press down a little harder in areas, that muscle memory, to be more specific. Oh, isn't that fantastic? I'm so glad you asked me to do these. Now, you know how I say that you shouldn't have a little bead of paint on the end of your liner brush? You can. I have one right now, if you know how to control it, and touch down quick and get out from it. Now, weird things might happen when you have that bubble of paint, but give it a try. Let that bubble form and see what happens. All right. How are we feeling? Are we ready to move on to this landscape? Let's do this. Let's do it. I'm gonna get a little sip of something. I am not going to paint all the way to the edges, friends. I'm gonna let it kind of hover in the middle here. All right. And we're gonna sketch this out. We are gonna sketch this out. Can you just go to 2? Get my face out of there, and oh, okay. I got you, no problem. Just go to full paint. All right. I want to just rough in. I'm thinking big shapes. I'm going to rough in this perspective a little, but again, I am going to zip through this, friends, because this is not what I want you worrying about right now, but I'm going to go darker than I normally would so you can see it coming from the side. I'm exaggerating that a little bit there. Right? See? Kristy makes mistakes. See? It's all good. Got this gorgeousness happening right in here. And this is our big swoosh here. All right. We're going to go up. And that's it. That's all I'm going to rough in. All right. We're thinking about what brush, but quickly. I grab my flat. Little bit of blue, little bit of purple, little bit of whatever brown was on my mixing tray there. And I am going in perpendicular because I know that I need to cut in this swoopy shape here. I'm going in and I'm going horizontal, following that silhouette. I'm twisting my brush a little bit and boom. I'm going to grab some purple right away and pop some up here and boom. Look at that. I'm cutting in with this kind of straight edge, cutting in. I'm not really, I'm following the lines, but this isn't like a coloring book page, friends. Like, you can go outside of these lines. There's a little green down in there, and I'm still using this flat wash brush. I use a flat wash brush so often for landscapes, you'd be shocked. Little green, wet on wet action. Now I see strong sunlight, yellow. Let's get her done. A little bit of peach. And we're going to come right in. Swoosh. Kind of horizontal, but with a curve. All right. I'm going to switch brushes just because, we're trying to like teach you some variety here. I'm not going to get lost in my flat wash brush land. A few more swooshes with a little bit more red on the brush along with that yellow. There's just like a pinky goldenness here. That's a little strong. So I'm going to rinse. This is the 1/2 inch dagger that I'm using now. All right, still a little too red. So I'm going to lift and blot, lift. Remember that push and pull from yesterday. Remember that. Keep the questions coming in if you do have any. What do I do with the pencil marks? I don't worry about them. I don't worry about them ever. They usually disappear at some point. Now I'm using the curved edge of this dagger, a little bit of that action. And then I feel like I want to go already and do some detailing with my cat's tongue. This is my number 6 cat's tongue from the Art for Joy's Sake brush collection. And I'm just going right into some detail and I'm not caring about it. And I'm actually mixing the color on the page. I'm scratching, I'm dabbing, and I'm smudging this paint together to create this little, let's call it a runway here. And actually this piece really shouldn't be here. I'm going to figure out what I want to do with it. This, yeah, I mean, it works, but it's okay. It actually shouldn't be there. So I deviated quite a bit from, so I'm going to make a little hill here and let it disappear a little bit. Let it not become such a focal area. And then there's a little more perspective over here. But I'm thinking about how can I create interesting marks with the brush that's in my hand? How am I going to change the angle? I'm not using the same stroke over and over, even though I loved what I did up here. Sometimes too much of a good thing is too much. Sometimes. I missed that question. Oh, okay, good. I've got my number 6 round. And I'm going to go into this green section. Is there a way to get that image up side by side with the painting cam or no?
There's not, I'm sorry.
Really? That's so weird.
It won't let me do it.
That's a bummer. Here, well, this is what I'm going to do then. Sorry, friends. A little bit of tech trouble, but we got it. We got it. All right. I'm going to go into here with my number 6, and I'm going to do some bouncy stuff. I'm holding my brush about halfway up on the handle, and I'm going to bounce, and I'm going to bounce, and I'm going to scrub, and I'm going to bounce. I'm getting texture and coverage, boom, all at the same time, right? And I'm going to go in, and I'm going to create this hill. I feel like a Filbert. I feel like a Filbert. Now, friends, would I actually switch my brushes up this often when I was painting in real life? Probably not, but it's a fun exercise. It's kind of like a brush tour exercise. I actually have a video coming up where I called it a palette tour painting, where you follow your palette one by one, use each color one after the other in a painting. And it's really fun. And I think the same concept would be great. Do a brush tour painting. And that's basically what I'm doing. Let's call it what it is. We are doing a brush tour painting. Let's get that up on screen. That is worthy of an on-screen quote. Don't you think? Don't you think? Doing a brush tour painting. All right. But notice how I'm just grabbing a brush and thinking about those exercises, all of this stuff, thinking about all this stuff. How did I use it? All the different ways, so that I don't trap myself into boring brush strokes. These exercises free you from boring brush strokes. And that's what we want. And I don't know where that came from. Anywho, let's go. I'm going down in here because this kind of runway kind of continues a little bit over here. Blue, purple. I'm making some like dingy colors. This is just a gorgeous like pastel-y landscape with some really interesting pastel-y stuff going on. And I am going to upstroke with curves, some shorter, some longer. Upstroke. This is my Filbert, my number 6 Filbert. And I'm going to run into the runway. Oh, this is so fun. Oh my gosh. Let the paint run. I'm letting the paint run out here. You can hear that? You hear that? Letting it scratch onto the paper because I want that dry brushness, right? Right? And I know, like, I literally, like, I got so excited about the perspective of this runway. I painted it right into the mountain here, but I don't care. I don't care. I was excited about the runway. Now let me think, how could I fix it? I know how I can fix it. All right, I am going to go. I'm going all in dark, y'all. I'm going all in dark and crazy. When you make a mistake, what option do you have? You could fuss and discuss and try to fix it in 50 different ways, or you could go bold and you could fix it in one way. This is the flat wash brush, my friends. Yes, it is. And I am going to restructure this geography to camouflage my mistake. And I'm cutting in with a dark color. I'm going to bring some of that dark color over here so it makes sense. And you know what? We're working it out. We're working it out. But the point here, my friends, is this. You are having fun. You are touring your brushes. Let's get some water up here with some clean-ish water. Let's get a sky in. Who's going to do one of these brush tour paintings? Who's going to do one? Please tell me. Please, lots of people say, please say yes, I'm going to do this, because you need to do it. So good. Oh my gosh, what did Elizabeth say? Why is everybody cheering for Elizabeth? I want to know. I missed it. And we're going to dab, and we're going to swoosh, and we're going to upstroke, and we're going to dab. And my husband's choking. You okay? Put your hand up if you're okay. Hands up. Good. And we've got a sky now. I'm rinsing my brush, friends. I'm thinking about an upstroke to create this. Oh, she just got her Kristy palette. Elizabeth got her palette. Yay. I'm thinking about upstrokes and like those clouds that like dot the sky and are very directional. Upstroke, upstroke, upstroke. I'm using my whole arm. This action is coming from my shoulder. Look at that. So fun. Rinse, rinse, rinse. Rinse again. Rinse again, and I'm just working. I'm scrubbing this brush now. This is all brush handling, friends. This is all brush handling. Is this painting perfect? No. Is this painting geographically, perspectively accurate? Not so much. Is this painting so fantastic and fun? Yes. Is this painting teaching me a lot about brush handling? Is this painting giving me some discipline to remember what my college professor said? Kristy, think about these strokes as you hit the page. Don't be boring. Don't box yourself in. Yes, that's what this painting is doing, my friends. I never shy away from critiquing myself in public. I think it's important. I think it makes us realize how human we are, all of us on this journey. As a professional painter, I am human too. What was my one recent video where I was literally walking you through some of the mistakes I made and vocalizing them and sharing them and inviting you to give me suggestions, and that's what this is all about. All right, I'm going to head down here with my liner brush, and I'm going to just give some interesting texture right down here. Where do I want this to be? Ooh, that's not strong enough. Oh, yeah, we're having some connectivity stuff. Yeah, the buffering really helps. Upstroke, friends. I mixed some yellow with some blue, a little bit of blue and brown that was on the palette. Now a little bit more green that was just in my mixing tray. And I'm doing all different angles. See how my angles are changing? Just some interesting stuff here. I'm dab and lifting here because I want this path to transition into this scrubby, grassy area in the direct foreground. So I'm making some thicker marks to give that transition a more subtle effect. See how that's starting to happen down there in the foreground? Really nice. I dropped some droplets of water. I don't care. I'm not worried about it. This is the liner brush, friends. Yeah. That's working out. That is working out. Now, I'm going to go up here. I'm feeling like using my number 6 round to get a little bit of contrast. I'm going into blue and purple. And I am just going to go up here with a few upstrokes. Up, up. Right where the one range meets the other. I'm going to rinse. And I'm going to blend with one stroke across so I don't overblend. Nice. I like how that worked. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to do a little peach, which may seem odd, but there's like a sunlight glow. Yeah. 2 strokes. Done. Get in, stroke it, get done. Look at that. Put your stroke down, get out. The reference photo will be linked, yes, after this video. For sure it will. Need a few strokes in here. There's like some planes in here that we need to capture. And then a few dabs to transition into the grassy area here. Love that. I'm going to go in with my Filbert and I'm going to do a little blending where this correction mark kind of needs some softening between the two. So just some clean water with the Filbert and a little bit of blending. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. I might even bring this out You're in a constant state of editing. We could call it correcting, but let's face it, we're in a constant state of editing as we go, right? Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to make this, bring out that liner again and get some grassy craziness going. Just some abstract stuff. That's the other thing about your paintings. They don't need to always, not all of the areas of the painting need to be super, what's the word? Super in your face representational, right? Over here, I just kind of want the eye to start disappearing a little bit and start getting bored so it comes back around and goes here, because right in here is my favorite part, kind of this angle right here. So I want the eye to start traveling and I want to direct the eye. So over here, things can get a little abstracty, right? Downstroke, downstroke with that round brush, downstroke, and then some thicker upstrokes over top of where I was using the liner before. Now we're getting there. Yeah. This is still weird, but you know, weird happens. It's very impressionistic. The idea of strokes, dabs, dashes, dots is more of an impressionistic approach to painting, but it gives such a lovely impression of this reality you're trying to create. All right. How are we feeling, friends? How are we feeling? This is lovely. Recovering from a migraine. It's perfect to watch. Oh, I'm so glad. How did you mix the silver gray color beneath the purple mountains? I'm pretty sure that was a little bit of, I'm looking at it here. I just added a little yellow to it. It was my blue from my Art for Joy's Sake palette. A little bit of blue. The blue in my palette is ridiculously strong. And then a little bit of peach and a smidge of this olive green right here. Let me try to recreate it while we're here. So, because I don't want to lead you astray. A little bit of blue. I think it was a lot of peach. Yeah. That's pretty much it. So, tiny bit of blue, whole lot of that peach. And, yeah, there you have it. Maybe a little bit more blue. Yeah. Gorgeous. That peach is one of my favorites. It has so much life and so much to offer. What we're doing, so much with our color mixing. This is the joy zone, my friends. This is the joy zone, and I hope you get here. I hope you get here.
Do you ever add salt to your landscape paintings?
Salt? Well, I don't often, but you know what? Since you brought it up, why not? Now, on Friday, friends, we are going, this is noisy, I apologize. On Friday, we are going to be going all in on mixed media. All in on mixed media. And I'm going to be bringing out some stuff. So these are from Ruby Mountain Co. They're called pigment salt sprinkles. And because you mentioned it, I'm going to bring them out. We're going to spray. Remember I talked about this corner being abstract? Just could completely ruin this effort. But you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. Ruby Mountain Co. Oh, we're going to get a dry brush here. Are any of my brushes actually dry? I need a dry brush to do this. This one is. Okay. I'm going to grab some of the, now you could just do this with like table salt or crystal, you know, rock salt, any kind of basic salt. These crystals have pigment in them. And then you can spray them. And you can watch what happens. Some fun stuff happens. You can paint with them and watch what happens. I'm going to pull this down close. So yes, salt mixed with pigment can do some crazy stuff. And yes, I do employ that from time to time. A little bit more on my brush here. I'm going to bring it over. I like what's happening here. I like this moodiness. I like so much about this. Yes, exactly like Brusho. Exactly. I have Brusho behind me. It's old, but I have it. But yes, they're just like Brusho. All right, let's get a good look. It's always good to get away to really see what's going on. Look at that. There's some gorgeous stuff happening here. I want to sweep up, and we could just, friends, we could paint together forever, couldn't we? We could paint together forever. But, you know, all good things. All good things. I'm struggling with this area, but I'm okay with it because I had so much fun with these brushes and touring these brushes. Instead of my liner, I seem to do better with the tip of my 6 round. Absolutely, it can give the same effect. Absolutely, because that 6 round, and that's the other thing. You're going to find, you know, who cares what the description, the brush seller tells you the brush is good for. You're going to find what works for you. Like my 6 rounds can make some wicked thin marks. So, how's everybody doing? What was your aha moment today? What was that moment that you were like, I'm so glad I came here. I'm so glad I spent this time. Let us know in comments, friends. Let us know what that moment was for you. When it dries, do you wipe it off? No, I never have. I guess you could. I mean, with traditional salt, you would wipe it off for sure. This all seems to, in most ways, dissolve pretty thoroughly. So, yeah. Bring those questions in, friends, as we wrap up. I'm here for it. Aha moment, using the liner brush like an orchestra wands. Yes, yes, I'm so glad. I love that. I love that that was your aha moment. That's good stuff, right? Good, good. Any others? I've missed you, my friends, and I am inspired to paint today or tomorrow. Thank you for making this so understandable. Hey, Lorna, I'm so glad you're here. Sandra says, thank you for showing the salt. I didn't realize there's colored salt. Yes. Check out Ruby Mountain Co. I'll put a link below. And Brusho, I believe it's still made. Virginia says I was terrified of the liner until watching you. Yeah, no reason to be terrified. Absolutely no reason. Our Journey says swish and flick. Yeah, I mean, why not, right? Why not swish and flick? Because, yeah. I'm going to go over here with my flat. I'm feeling something. Sometimes I feel something and it was wrong. I think that was actually right. It's bringing the eye to the zone here that I love. Yeah. Mm. Love it. I'm much more excited about this painting now than I was a few moments ago. Freedom to use any brush. Amen. Rita got a beautiful ombre with one stroke. I love that. So good. Isn't that so fun when you can get a crazy ombre with one stroke? Let me find mine because I had one that I was like, what just happened? Trying to remember where I got that one crazy ombre stroke. I do love these swirly doos that you inspired me to make. Yep, some really great ombres here. Look what we've created today. Look what we've created. Deborah, someone just said they don't do landscapes, but the textures that you can get with the liner are incredible, aren't they? I think so. I think so for sure. Wow, this is a moody landscape. Kristy got moody. I'm feeling it though. I'm feeling it. And this is the point, friends. This isn't, I talk about this all the time. This is being kind to yourself. This isn't boasting. We want to get in the habit of being really, really stinking kind to ourselves, okay? Like really kind. And you've got to get in the habit of it because it doesn't come naturally. Am I right? This is moody. I'm going with the moody. Dig it, dig it, dig it. Carla says, thank you so much, Joe, for choosing a desert landscape. We get so many lush green European settings on YouTube. You do. You do. Mm-hmm. Yes. And like, I'm fighting the urge. I'm not filling this in because this is so good, textury and scratchy and loosey. And oh, yeah, it's good. It's good, good, good. Any last questions, friends? We are going to wrap up here real soon. We are over time because apparently my artist brain cannot tell time, but it's okay. I don't care. Mm-hmm. All right, let's review, friends. Your brush needs to become an extension of you, your hand, your heart, right? And how do we get there? We get there with exercises and drills, but they don't have to be boring. They don't. Remember, this one looked like a landscape. This is crazy. This is so cool. You want to think about the angle of your hand. Is it this way? Is it this way? Is it this way? You want to think about where on the brush you're holding. Down low, in the middle, or at the tip. And you want to think about the pressure that you're putting from your hand to the brush to the paper. Is it strong? Is it light? Right? And you want to think about how can I use this brush in an uncommon way, or how can I use a brush that really isn't made for what I'm doing, and challenge myself. Virginia says, what an amazing class. Can't wait for tomorrow. Thank you so much for all the time you spent with us. You're very welcome, Virginia. Friends, I'm going to go ahead and link to a few landscape videos that you might be interested in if you're curious and if this landscape kind of got you excited about landscapes. And until tomorrow, friends, I bid you happy painting. Have a wonderful rest of the day. And remember, for those watching on replay, I want to see your comments. All right. Happy painting, friends.